Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Speaking Spurs, me Kieran talking all things Tottenham, and today we are talking build up to the game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. What are we expecting from this? Who knows? That's what we're going to discuss today. So welcome back to the channel. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to support it with a like, and most importantly, post your comments below afterwards to keep the conversation going. So let's jump straight in with team news. Conte's come out and said new signing Clement Longley is set to miss out, and it's just with some tightness in his adductor muscle. Probably could play, but they don't want to take any risks against Chelsea. And then Skip, his injury nightmare continues. He is out once again. Probably another couple of weeks we're looking at. And I feel sorry for the guy because he's such a talented young player and he's just playing catch up all the time. Richarlison will be available, however, after his one-game suspension from throwing the smoke flare last season into the Everton fans, and that was after scoring the winner against Chelsea, the team that we're playing. But he's most likely to be named on the bench in this game. Obviously, after the first game, how can you replace any of Son, Kane or Kulusevski? Chelsea team news, they will be without Mateo Kovacic. He is suffering a knee injury, and Marcos Alonso, a man that many of us completely dislike, he will also be out as he tries to push his move through to Barcelona. Which leaves the provisional squads like this. For Chelsea, Mendy, Kepa, Azpilicueta, Silva, Koulibaly, James, Kante, Jorginho, Cucurella, their new signing from Brighton, Mount, Sterling over from Man City, Havertz, Chalobah, Chilwell, Chukwueze, Loftus-Cheek, Gallagher, Ziyech, Pulisic and Broja. And then our squad will look like this. Lloris, Forster and Austin as goalkeepers. The defenders, Doherty, Royale, Spence, Dyer, Romero, Sanchez, Tanganga, Davies, Perisic, Sessegnon. That's a lot to choose from. Then central midfielders, Bizuma, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Sarr and White, and then that leaves the wide men and strikers as Kulusevski, Bryan Hill, Lucas Moura, Son, Kane and Richarlison. So you see some of the players that are still out of the squad, the likes of Ndombele, who's trying to desperately get a move away from Spurs. Harry Winks also banished from the squad looking for a move. Lo Celso, it looks like he's getting his move to Villarreal. Stuff has been agreed there. And can't remember the other one. But anyway, yeah, them players out of the squad completely. But the interesting inclusion is Bryan Hill. So there were a lot of speculation that he would probably be going out on loan. He got game time during pre-season. He was on the bench for the last game. He's on the bench again. So maybe, just maybe, Conte's had a look at him in training and gone, do you know what? Let's give him a little bit of a chance. But expect there's still a chance he'll go out before the window closes. If we look at last time out from both teams, we managed to get a 4-1 win at home against Southampton on the opening day of the season after going 1-0 down, and then we tore them apart afterwards. Chelsea scraped a 1-0 win at Everton from the penalty spot. And, Everton were playing okay in that game. They did suffer the injury to Yerry Mina. So, there are reasons why Chelsea may have had stuff in their favour in that game. Everton not doing too well in the injury department at the moment. So that's kind of promising in a sense, considering how poor Everton were last season, which means Chelsea obviously struggled on the opening day. So let's talk about everything ourselves. So we are away at Stamford Bridge tomorrow, which will be Sunday the 14th of August. We haven't actually won at Stamford Bridge since 2018, so it's not a ground that many of our fans are going to be expecting the 3 points from. However, Saturday's game last week against Southampton showed the improvement that we have made under Conte from the implementations of his tactics and work rate, and we'll hope that some of that momentum will go into the London derby. So Chelsea are kind of in a bit of a transition period themselves. They've lost a fair few players, so for once, that should play into our favour. And our supporters will very much hope so. I'm kind of quietly confident that we're going to go into this game. Look, last season we didn't register a win against them. We didn't score a goal against them. And we're hoping, we put away 4 goals in the first game. We were scoring goals in pre-season. Harry Kane looked sharp. However, didn't actually have too much involvement against Southampton. Had a pretty quiet first half. Had a couple of shots at the goalkeeper. So let's hope he can push on. So, score predictions, please. I'm not going to do a score prediction because I'm worried I'm going to curse it. That's just how I am in these situations. But pop your score predictions below. Also, starting lineups. What do you think? For me, I think he may go very similar to the starting lineup against Chelsea. It will be interesting to see if Perisic starts over Sessegnon just for a bit more experience. With big games, Sessegnon obviously hasn't had the Tottenham career he would have wanted so far, mainly because of injuries. So we'll see what happens there. That can be or maybe Doherty in for Royale. Although I will say Royale did have a very, very, very solid game against Southampton after the first goal where he struggled against Gineppo. So that is it for that. Now let's actually talk about our next 6 fixtures, and we'll talk about the fixtures that those around us have got coming up. So our fixtures look like this. Chelsea, which we've spoken about. Then we've got a home game against Wolves on the 20th of August. So the last fixture between the sides at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Wolves actually came out on top, and it was a poor display from Conte's boys. So whether we manage to get the points against Chelsea or not, we'll hope that being back at home will help secure all 3 points against Bruno Lage's side. After that, we then travel away against Nottingham Forest. That's on the 28th of August. So it's the first fixture of the season that we have against the newly promoted side. The City Ground over Bank Holiday weekend. Forest play Man City 3 days after us. So it'll be a massive, massive week for them. But hopefully will be too much for them. Then we travel away to West Ham on the 31st of August. Never an easy game against West Ham, especially at the London Stadium. Our last 2 trips across London to face them have ended in defeats, and Conte will want to turn that around. With our improvement under the Italian and the strength that we've added this summer, we may fancy our chances in that game, which will be our second London derby of the season so early. Then we travel. We don't travel, sorry. Then we're back at home against Fulham on the 3rd of September. Another newly promoted side. Marco Silva got a point out of their first fixture, which was against Liverpool. Liverpool, obviously, Jurgen Klopp moaned about the dryness of the pitch, to which Fulham responded with their sprinklers showing the day before, talking about a lovely day. So their first result means a match against them shouldn't be taken lightly. We'll have to be right up at it to get all 3 points. However, being at home should massively give us a boost, and I think will be too much for them anyway. And then Man City away on the 10th of September, a big one there at the Etihad. So usually it would be a daunting fixture against Man City. However, our record against Pep Guardiola's side last season may give us some confidence. So we actually beat them twice last season, producing solid performances in both games, and we'll be wanting to close the gap between us and them in Premier League standings. We need to be pushing up there, so this will be a massive, massive test for us after, a mixed bag of games in between. So it's a great chance to show how far we've come. So if we look at the fixtures of the people around us, we might as well talk about Chelsea next, because they're our next opponents. So it will be them against us. We don't know what the outcome will be. They then travel away to play Leeds. I'd expect them to win that. They've then got Leicester at home. They will probably win that. Southampton away. Again, I think they'll win that. And then West Ham at home. That'll be a difficult fixture. West Ham are very much nearly up there these days. And David Moyes, who's done a fantastic job. So that could be a potential draw, and then they go Fulham away, and I think there'll be too much for them again. So let's talk about Arsenal's fixtures. Their next game after their opening day win is home against Leicester, so probably a win there. Then they travel to Bournemouth away. Chances are another win. Then Fulham at home, probably a win. Aston Villa at home, probably another win. Then Man United away, who knows, it's Man United. And then Everton at home, probably another win. So it looks like Chelsea and Arsenal will pick up a decent amount of points within those 6 games. We might get a decent chunk of points with a question mark over the Chelsea game. And then let's talk about Man United, because I suppose they're meant to be in that equation of pushing for the top 4. Not the best start for them already. On the opening day of the season, Ten Hag's got a massive job to do. But here are the next 6 fixtures anyway. So Brentford away. I mean, who knows what's going to happen there. Brentford got a point to prove after losing Christian Eriksen to Manchester United. They then have a home game against Liverpool. They're probably going to lose that. Southampton away, you'd expect them to win that game. However, unpredictable, so who actually knows? They then face Leicester away, which will be a difficult fixture because they'll be looking to sort of correct themselves over last season. You know, they've kind of slipped a bit, Leicester. They haven't really done too much in the transfer market either. Players, bigger players of theirs are being linked with moves away, so who knows with them. Then they've got Arsenal at home, which will be a difficult game, and then Palace away. And Patrick Vieira has turned Palace into even more of a difficult team to play against than they were before. Defensively, they were very stubborn and hard to break down under Roy Hodgson, but under Vieira, they've also added a bit of flair going forward as well with, you know, players that were always capable of it, but they're no longer on the back foot as much. So, Man United, I expect to pick up the least amount of points from that little run. But I expect Chelsea and Arsenal to pick up a similar amount of points as us. So, it's going to make the top 4 very, very interesting. So, you know, let me know your thoughts below. How do you think that race is going to go early on in the season? I mean, I fully expect us to finish in the top 4 this season. I think under Conte, with the new signings we've got, he'll probably strengthen again in January if he needs to. Daniel Levy is clearly backing him. Paratici knows what he's doing. So for us, I think it's going to be a fantastic season. You know, after how Conte turned us around last season, after what was it was an up and down start under... God, I've already forgotten his name. That's how memorable he was. But anyway, up and down start, and then Conte slowly headed up in a decent trajectory. And with players like Kulu, Son and Kane producing the numbers they are, the top score and assist makers within the league over the course of 2022 so far. Everything to play for. Looks good. So will Chelsea be the ones to miss out on the top 4? Have Arsenal kicked on enough under Arteta? We'll see. I think we are getting to the point where we could push Man City and Liverpool. A few more signings. I think this season will bridge the gap a little bit further. Next season we could be looking at possible title push. So let me know in the comments below. What do you think the outcome will be against Chelsea? Will we get that win finally at Stamford Bridge since 2018? Where will we finish in the league? What are your predictions for the lineup? Let me know everything below. But thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed that. I have been Kieran from Speaking Spurs. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. And until next time, come on you Spurs.